temporarily through with the paper doll stuff. Time to put in the sail reinforcements. I'm going to be using very lightweight aluminum instead of brass. It probably doesn't make much difference down at the foot, but way up at the masthead I prefer the lightweight. Unfortunately, my punch has a difficult time making a clean cut all the way through, so I usually have to kind of help it out. Well, let's give it a little more and see. We can't get it all lined up the same way it was. Okay, now I have the rivet in, but I need to trim off some of that material. The eyelet, not the rivet. I've checked online. I'm pretty sure you can buy the eyelets and the eyelet setting tool in craft shops such as Hobby Lobby and Michael's. You can possibly find a hole punch there as well. I believe I bought mine originally from a kite supply company, probably from Hang-em High, which hasn't reopened since they had a fire several years ago. Okay. That's one done. More paper dolls time. I've cut these little lozenge-shaped reinforcements for the luffs of the sails. Now I'm going to put them on. I've marked the sails so that, well, the main anyway, so that the tie points don't interfere with the shroud attachment points or anything else, which is what these little dots are for. Note that you can clean off Sharpie markings with rubbing alcohol. It'll come off clean. I've laboriously printed out and then carved out with an X-Acto sheet the sail numbers I want to put on the sail, and I've put the new jib on top of the old jib to help me get the location right. And now all I have to do is trace the numbers and then ink them in. You may have noticed that an awful lot of this is pretty similar to kindergarten. First you do paper dolls and then you color within the lines. With luck, this Xerox paper type stencil will last me for all 4 sets of numbers. I sure hope so. I hate carving them out with an X-Acto knife. There are other ways, of course, of getting numbers, but this is pretty quick, certainly inexpensive. The requirement is that the numbers be contrast, so that's not too tough a thing. You can have red numbers or blue numbers or whatever you can get a Sharpie pen for. And that will do it for that one as soon as I fill it in. I'm tying the main on now with the same Spectra type fishing line I use for all the other rigging. There are 2 knots I use for this, from fishing at least, is the improved clinch knot. And for tying sails on and some other similar situations, I use the surgeon's knot. Surgeon's knot is essentially a square knot, except you take an extra twist on, I believe it's the first part. And I never use super glue afterwards because my knots always hold. Well, mostly always. After I tie it, I pull it tight against the mast, not against the sail, because I don't want to rip the thing out of the, rip the hole out. And now I'll trim the line. And that's done. About 6 more to go. Looks like I'm going to need some battens. You're allowed to have 3 on the main and 2 on the jib. They can have any length, but they must divide the sail up into equal partitions. I've already retied in an effort to remove that wrinkle, and if I retied several of them, I might be able to do it, but it looks like also there's a tendency for the leech to fall off or curl a little bit on its own, and the battens will help some of that too. I have some official batten material. You can also use probably 1/32 model airplane plywood if you waterproof it first and hold it on with sail tape, double-sided sail tape. Often in packaging you'll come across a stiff clear plastic sheet, possibly sheet acetate, that you can cut into fine strips for battens. And Eric Rosenbaum had a good article, I believe in Model Yachting, several issues back, in which he talks about sail making and describes how you can make your own battens with fiberglass. This would be easier if I took the sail off, but I really hate to retie it umpteen times, so we're just going to do it like that. And to help keep the edges from coming up, I'm going to use some more paper doll stuff. I've cut these little circles from the reinforcing material. And the one at the rear fold over. So half is on the other side. There, that's a big improvement, and I think most of the rest of whatever problems I have will come out when I finish tying and adjusting and get the other two battens on.